Good evening. Welcome to the Borough of Lansdowne Borough Council Business Meeting for August 20th, 2025. All right, thank you, Ms. Brodeur. Next item, approval of the agenda. Can I have a motion to approve the agenda? So moved. Have a second?
Second.
Motion moved and second. Any discussion?
I'd like to make an amendment to add a motion.
What's that motion?
That motion is to rescind President Curry's decree concerning organizing resolutions and committees.
Say that again, please.
Motion to rescind President Curry's decree concerning organizing resolutions and committee assignments.
Yeah, I mean, you want to add an item to the agenda, so you're looking to amend the motion to approve the agenda. Is that right?
Correct.
No.
Do we have a second to rescind the president's decree?
Second.
Second. All right. Any discussion?
Discussion.
Well, what are you looking at me for? What's the discussion?
So,
It's been seconded. so-
All in favor?
I
Any opposed?
Aye. No.
Nay.
Nay.
So we could do a roll call on that.
Sure.
Council President Curry,
Nay.
Vice President Pointer,
Nay.
Councilperson Connors,
Nay.
Councilperson Griffin,
Nay.
Councilperson Hover,
Aye.
Councilperson Martz, Councilperson Young.
Nay.
So the motion has not passed, so will not be added to the agenda.
No.
Do we have any other comments regarding the agenda?
It's only 16 motions.
There's only 16 now, yeah.
You like to keep track.
Yo,
All right. So all in favor of approving the agenda?
Aye.
Any opposed?
Nay.
All right, it appears the motion passed. The agenda has been approved. All right, so we'll move on to the council president's report. Good evening, members of Lansdowne and Borough Council members, and the public. Thank you for being here today. I just wanted to make a statement regarding on the agenda, at the bottom of the agenda on first page, communication from Mr. Hover. I just wanted to make a public comment, a statement regarding this matter. So thank you for being here today. I want to address the concerns raised in a letter from the Jewish Community Relations Council regarding Council Member Mr. Hover removal as Chair of Economic Development and Planning. While I appreciate the Jewish Community Relations Council involvement, I must clarify that Mr. Hover was removed due to his combative interactions with borough employees, community members, and council members. Additionally, it has come to my attention that Mr. Hover recently made a Facebook post about an issue he had with one or more borough employees. I cannot emphasize enough how inappropriate and unprofessional it is for a council member to air borough personnel matters on social media. If anyone on council has an issue with borough employees' performance, that issue should be handled through borough channels and not in public. To do otherwise could easily be construed as creating a hostile workplace. And this Facebook post did in fact cause great upset to one of the employees in question. As the council president, I have the right to assign and remove council members from committees. And under my leadership, respectful discourse is not just encouraged, it's required. Unfortunately, Mr. Hover has not met that standard. As I have stated previously, his ability to lead a committee on this council will be reviewed at the next reorganization meeting in January. I want to emphasize that this will be my final comment regarding this matter. Thank you for your understanding. So that's my statement regarding that matter. And that concludes my president's report. Any comments, questions?
certainly, since we're airing laundry in public and that you continue to deflect from the issues at hand, I would like to read a full letter into the record from the Jewish Federation of Greater Philadelphia that's dated July 14th. And this is after particular comments were made. When we talk about combative
So
What, excuse me, you had your.
hold on, bring it back to the chair. Call to order,
Use your.
Call to order.
Excuse me.
call to order.
You asked.
Call to order, bring it, I'm gonna bring it back, call to order.
Comments and.
Call to order, Mr. Hover, call to order. Now, you have a section on the agenda for communication. At that time, if you wanted to readjust where you spoke about this letter, you could have done it at that time. So right
No, I'm
now,
sorry, you
the
asked
letter,
comments about your statement. I like
the letter
comments
will
on
be
the
discussed at the communication section of the agenda.
I would like to address your comments.
You can address my comments, but in terms of the letter, that will be addressed in the
Your comments
communication
address
section
the
of the
letter, so
agenda.
explain what I'm allowed to speak on.
That will be covered
What
in
do
the
I have your
communication
permission
section
to
of the
speak
agenda,
on,
sir.
Mr. President.
All right. All right, thank you. So we're gonna move on to communications, Mr. Hover.
Thank you. And I made a copy for everyone here on council. I did send a copy to you as well. And to read into the public record from the Jewish Federation of Greater Philadelphia. And afterwards, give brief comments on it. I'm going to hold my other comments until public comment. Dear members of the Lansdowne Borough Council, we write to express our deep concern and disappointment regarding the treatment of Councilmember Benjamin Hover. Profoundly disturbing to learn that Councilmember Hover was stripped of his committee assignments after organizing a workshop on anti-Semitism and Jewish peoplehood. This action appears to be political retaliation for addressing an issue that demands serious attention and community engagement. Punishing an elected official for initiating a thoughtful and necessary conversation on anti-Semitism sends an unacceptable message about whose voices and concerns are valued by this council. In addition to the professional repercussions he has faced, Councilmember Hover has been personally targeted for calling out anti-Semitism on his own social media. He's spoken out against several incidents, including a November 2023 protest at Moldy's in Center City, the firebombing of Governor Shapiro's residence, and the recent deadly attacks in Washington, D.C. and Boulder that claimed the lives of 3 people and injured many others. For publicly condemning these acts of hate, he has faced personal attacks and retaliation, an unacceptable price to pay for standing up against anti-Semitism. Moreover, we are alarmed by the ongoing harassment and intimidation Councilmember Hover continues to face. A small but aggressive group appears to dominate public comment on council meetings, repeatedly targeting him with personal attacks. That these ad hominem attacks are permitted to continue without intervention reflects a troubling failure of leadership. The council president has a clear responsibility to maintain order and uphold standards of respect during public meetings. Allowing unchecked personal attacks against a fellow council member erodes the integrity of the council and undermines public trust. Councilmember Hover has shown courage in raising critical issues and serving his community. The behavior he has endured and the council's lack of response reflects poorly on this body. We urge you to take immediate steps to course correct, demonstrate accountability, and ensure that no elected official is punished or marginalized for standing up against hate. And I would just like to add that we did witness here tonight that continued harassment with a member of the audience making profane gestures in my direction. This is the kind of behavior that started occurring in December, which we had individuals in the audience actually cursing people who were Jewish in the audience, using profane gestures towards them. In one instance, an individual stated to the rabbi that she wished that all the people had died in the ovens during the Holocaust. That this
So you're just gonna sit there and just keep lying like that? Like, I'm sorry, I just can't, I understand this is a lie.
Excuse me, if you're in the public, you cannot speak right now. You will have opportunity for public comment, but we cannot speak right now.
I apologize, it just, I hear so many lies and it just like becomes so overwhelming.
I understand, but we cannot make comments during council discussion. Mr. Hover has the opportunity to speak. When public comment comes up, you have opportunity to speak as well.
I think we're witnessing the behavior that I'm discussing by some of the same actors, and I'm going to leave the letter there, and when I give my public comment at the end of public comment, I'm also going to provide to all council the flyers, 2 flyers that took over 1.5 years for council to actually acknowledge where is state law. One is what is anti-Semitism. The other has to do with religious creed protections from the Pennsylvania Human Relations Commission. And I'll address those in my public comment as well.
All right, thank you. Do we have any, comments, questions? All right, we're gonna move on. Thank you. All right. All right, so next up, we have public comment. Can I have a motion to suspend Robert rules and move into public comment?
So.
Second. Motion moved and seconded. All in favor?
Point of information. Is public comment going to follow the strictures as laid out by our ordinances and our organizing resolutions, and also provide for a limited public forum as established by Port of All based upon the topics on the agenda?
Explain.
The public comment that counts, the public comment is not a free for all, public comment is a limited public forum. And established by court. That I do not want to have to sit here and receive consistent ad hominem attacks that have occurred in past meetings. And would like to focus on the business of the borough.
So free fall, I'm not sure what you mean by free fall, but the public has a right to come to the microphone and express their concerns about borough events, borough councils. It's a public opportunity for them to come up. They'll have 5 minutes to.
Excuse me.
They'll have 5 minutes. They'll have 5 minutes. Just allow me to finish. They'll have 5 minutes. They'll have 5 minutes to speak. And then once those 5 minutes are up, their time will be up and we'll move on to the next person for public comment.
Point
You
of
had a
information,
question.
Mr. Scott, public comment is not open to everything. It can be established as a limited public.
I have learned the hard way that the public has First Amendment right to speak at public meetings. And one time I saw this council try to control being said, we got a federal civil rights lawsuit and ended up having to pay the person's legal fees. I believe there's a First Amendment right for people to talk at public meetings about what they perceive to be the issue that they want to talk about.
There is a court case at the West Supreme Court, Good News Club versus Milford Central School, that did establish for a limited public forum.
Well, Sonny, I'd be happy to look at it, but I will tell you, we've been burned before.
So as I mentioned, so we're going to allow public to have public comments about, agenda items, non-agenda items. We are public officials. So we'll have opportunity to speak, and the microphone will be limited to 5 minutes. When you do, raise your hand to speak, please make sure you say your name and place of residence. And again, I will be timing for 5 minutes. I'm gonna start in the room, and I know Ms. Pointer wanted to start off public comment.
I'm joining Ms. Pointer at the.
Okay.
I am as well.
Thank you. I appreciate the support. A little nervous, so just bear with me. I might take 6 minutes, but we'll get through it. Good evening, Mayor, President Curry, Chief Rutherford, fellow council members, and members of the Lansdowne community. I stand before you tonight not only as Vice President of Council, but as a Black woman in leadership, a volunteer, and a resident deeply committed to the progress of our borough. For nearly 2 years since January 2024, this council and this community have endured repeated disruptions and harmful behavior from Councilman Ben Hover. These actions have not only distracted us from the important work of legislation and policy, but they have also caused real harm to staff, to community members, and to women more specifically. Let me be clear, the decision to relieve Mr. Hover of his committee responsibilities was not about his religion, his ethnicity, or his culture. It was and remains about his behavior. Behavior that has been widely witnessed, documented, and experienced as disruptive, misogynistic, and at times intimidating. We have seen a staff member reduced to tears after being publicly shamed. We have seen women leaders in nonprofit community in the nonprofit community and on this council spoken to in derogatory, dismissive ways. We have heard concerns from a council colleague who felt threatened after voting against one of his proposals. And we have seen social media posts, that misrepresent errors, inflame division, and erode trust in our borough staff. Behavior that is not leadership, but trauma-inducing for those who volunteer and serve in good faith. This is why community members themselves, including my Jewish neighbors, have spoken out and even circulated petitions describing Mr. Hover's conduct as misogynistic and harmful. We're tired. I'm tired. This is why President Curry and I, as the first two Black leaders in Lansdowne's history to serve together at this level, find it disheartening that instead of supporting progress, he has chosen to hinder it. Leadership demands accountability, humility, and self-reflection. To date, there has been no apology, no reflection, and no effort to repair harm caused. Instead, there have been threats of press exposure, accusations, and continued name calling. We cannot in good conscience restore committee assignments to someone who has demonstrated the willingness to take responsibility for his actions or to change his behavior. What we need, what our community deserves, is a space to heal, to rebuild trust, and move forward with the work of governance. I won't read the rest, but it's in that sentiment, but I'm letting you know that I'm very tired and he's gonna F around and find out.
Any other public comment? Yeah, if you can state your name and place of residence.
And my name is Anya Fox, a resident of Lansdowne. I'm just gonna read through notes because I made them. I think the LEDC history and success and managing the Main Street program is more of a reason to push for the August 30th deadline. I'm not really sure the process is for that. But I would hate for them to lose out on the potential of getting a grant and being able to continue their solid work that lots of residents in Lansdowne enjoy. I was really confused about the whole theater thing. And the idea that this person come up and presented something that began with "this is not about money" when they're a for-profit making business. So that kind of was very confusing for me, because the bottom line is it actually is about money. They can't do their shows unless they have the space. They open in 2 days, and now it's the problem when there was years and years and years to deal with this issue. And so it just feels really confusing that on a show night you would be willing to give up 22 car spaces. That means 22 more cars on our streets that are already small and overcrowded with cars. Potential income from 22 spaces on a night that could get income for the borough. I know that's a wider discussion, but I think it definitely should have there should be definitely a wider discussion. I just want to say that I think that it was extremely disingenuous for a council member Hoover to present a letter that was obviously written by someone that didn't have all of the information on history, on context. Because I don't see how anyone could put their name to that letter with a straight face. There have been no professional impacts. There is no loss of income. None of those things are real. I just want to put on public record that people should know and be aware of, what Darvo is, right? It is something that narcissists do. And it means that you like defend, attack, and reverse victim order. And it's utilized by abusers and people who are aggressive towards other human beings in a myriad of different ways. And I think it's something that people, if they don't know what that is, should look into it, because I do think that it, you know, diagnostically, like, explains some people's behaviors. Thank you.
Thank you. Do you have any other comment in the room? Is there any other comments in the room? Yes, sir.
Nathaniel Miller, Shapit Terrace. I apologize for my outburst earlier. Sometimes the lies are just too much and I couldn't control myself, but I was out of order. I apologize for that. Very powerful statement, Jessica. Thank you. Thank you for sharing. I think that really speaks a lot for what I feel too. Yeah, I don't know. It's just really sad to me that it's come to this. Like, it's just really sad. People liked you. I liked you. I defended you. I thought you had a lot of good ideas. I still think many of your ideas were good. I still support the one way on Scottdale. I think it's been a huge improvement to the borough. But you talk about personal attacks. I'm the only one that had to file a cease and desist letter for slander and harassment. You think people are coming after you because of your religion? I don't think that's the case of anyone here. They're coming after you because of how you've acted, how you consistently treated people in this community year after year, despite the numerous attempts that people made to reach out to you, to ask you to change your behavior, to ask you to be collaborative. And every single one, you shut people down. You say people here are engaging in ad hominem attacks. I mean, I'm not going to say anything. It absolutely strains credulity to hear you say that, seeing some of the things that you post and some of the things that you say. I'm not Jewish, so I'm going to let some of the Jewish members of the community speak specifically to that. But as someone who spent 30 years fighting Nazis, it sickens me, absolutely sickens me that you would suggest that someone in our community would say to a rabbi that they think that Jews should be thrown into ovens. Who was? Tell me who that person was, because you know what? Like, I won't punch him, but you know, like that's like really effing wrong for someone to say that. But I actually don't think anyone here did say that. Like, so many of the things that you were in that letter, like so many of the things that have been stated really throughout the past 2 years, I just don't think they're true. I don't want to call you a liar because maybe you believe them. Maybe you're simply delusional. I don't know. But factually speaking, they are not true. And you cannot demonstrate that they're true because they're false. There's no proof. There's no evidence. If there was evidence, show us the evidence. That's all I have to say about that matter. I love the LEDC. I love all of the work that you're doing. I love the leadership we've had on council these past 2 years. Rob, you've done an excellent job. Really sad to see you go. After these 2 years, I totally understand why I would be running out that door myself, but you've done a great job. Jessica, you've done a great job. Everybody has done a really great job. You've been great. Deborah, super happy with you as borough manager. I just really hope that we can move past all of this, however that looks, but this acrimony, this just has to end. People love this community. They want to be involved in this community, but all of this crap makes people not want to be involved. It makes people not want to be on committees. It makes people not want to volunteer for things. And I love Lansdowne. We all love Lansdowne. I think you even love Lansdowne. But that really has to change. That has to change. We have to be more collaborative. We have to be more caring. We're a small community. We care about each other. That we have to show that. And this acrimony, this vitriol has to end. So thank you.
May I
Thank you.
respond, President Curry?
Yeah.
Respectfully, because you asked a few questions. The first of which, when you filed or sent in this lawsuit, Who wrote on whose timeline on social media? Did I write on yours?
No,
No, you wrote on mine several times. You posted several times on mine postings about Jewish Voices for Peace, which is an organization that has been documented by numerous individuals as part of my statement, numerous groups as using token voices to attack other mainstream Jewish institutions. I stated that I believe that to be anti-Semitic. That's what you filed.
yes, and you
That's
called
what
me,
you
you
filed.
called me Nate Miller, the anti-Semite. I can pull up the screenshot, so we don't need to go into this.
Right.
No,
Facts
I
speak for
never wrote
themselves.
that because you are accusing me of delusion. I know because it's on my social media account and I preserved it because of the potential lawsuit. So that's one thing to address. There is a video of that meeting where that statement was made. The statement was made to Rabbi Malik, who also wrote about it in the Jewish Expo. The experience that she had in this meeting with individuals from this community cursing at her and saying things to her.
Well, show us that video of somebody saying that, because if they said it,
That's
that's
on the Lansdowne Borough website.
So-
The third thing I'm addressing, because he's making
Absolutely.
some points here, and I think it's important to address. When misstatements go out and accusations go out, there has to be a space to address those allegations. The individual who wrote the letter is Jason Holtzman of the JCRC, who was there at the meeting. He experienced it himself. He doesn't need my feedback and other things to know what happened in the meeting because he saw it happen. He's witnessed the videos of what's happened in these borough council meetings. He's seen it. He's seen the evidence. He's seen the social media posts. He's seen all of them. The evidence is there. I'm going to address that and I'm going to list the points of evidence. The reason why I thought in good faith that much of the things that were being said in Lansdowne were just out of ignorance. Now I don't think it's ignorance. I think it's deliberate. I think it's intentional. And I think there's a term for it. It's called Jew baiting. You're actually doing something to try to provoke reaction, doing something to provoke conflict. And that is a particular term that's happened over a good 1,000 years. The whole idea of what I'm seeing happening now, and this is what I said about the limited public forum. Once again, you're turning this into a circus show in which I get to be the scapegoat in the middle. And all of the things that are going wrong, all the issues in Lansdowne, I get to be vilified from the folks here in the community. I tried stepping back, then I got attacked for it.
Very friendly.
Well,
So-
you have made some statements as well, so.
So,
All right.
so we're actually gonna, thank you for your comments. Do we have any other comments in the room? Yes, sir.
Yeah, hi, Josh Moore at Price Avenue. I want to know, as a member of the tech, where I'm a little more inside on this, but everyone's signing it now, so nobody's ignorant of it. We just revised our social media. We call it the media, digital communications policy now because social media was a little narrow for the scope, but I want to know if it's going to be addressed. I'm not sure what else we can do at this point because he can't do anything else. Had everything taken away from him, but I want to know what is going to be done to address the fact that Councilmember Hover has directly violated social media policy. I don't remember the section off the top of my head, but I do know that because I helped recraft it, that it explicitly prohibits public officials from turning off comments or deleting comments from their official page if they have one, and that has been happening kind of all the time lately. Councilmember Hover has been posting long diatribes about other council members' policies or comments or about upcoming votes and has been shutting down comments. Sometimes not permanently, but very often has been doing it, and it is in direct violation of policy that borough passed. It was in the original policy as well, by the way, so it's not a new addition. It was in the policy that existed. Despite Bob Scott doing a lot of work with the tech board to retool it and make sure that everything's in order, so. That was it. I want to shift away from that though and speak some positivity. I do want to thank all of our borough council members. For being patient through a very, very difficult couple of years. There have been a lot of changes and a lot of you I have either worked directly with on boards or have interacted with one-on-one over several issues. And I really, really appreciate your receptivity to the public. I really appreciate your dedication to taking feedback and to maybe not all the time agreeing with the public and our perceptions of what's going on or the directions to move forward, but trying to understand our perspectives and trying to understand our concerns and trying to act on them while doing things in the best interest of our borough with a lot of money and a lot of time and a lot of planning that takes a lot of effort. So I appreciate you all very greatly for doing that in a season of tumult. It's not easy ever, but particularly when there's gum in the gears and you're trying to get things done when there's some things setting you back that maybe we should never have. I do want to also thank Vice President Pointer. I don't want to speak out of turn, but I know that my two oldest sons learned to swim at the No Child Drown in My Town program. So I very much appreciate that program. I grew up swimming at summer camp. My mom was a swim instructor, but we live far away from my parents. And so 2018, my kids are starting to get to the age where, we want to make sure that they're safe around the water. If we're not there, if they go to a friend's house, whatever happens, but I greatly appreciate that. Is that program still running free to all non-members?
Yeah.
Okay, great, because we were not members and we were welcomed in. My kids got in the water, got real comfortable really fast, and it's a great program. Anyone who has small kids or just wants to learn, if you're not a kid, I mean, it's not just youth, am I correct?
No.
Okay, so if you need to learn how to swim, which you do, you need to learn how to swim, it's a safety issue. Please take advantage of that program. It is amazing. The instructors are great and they will get you in the water, have fun. So thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Hi, Suzanne McElroy, Drexel Avenue, Lansdowne. Some of the things that came up on my mind and that were discussed here this evening. The website. It is a pure pleasure now to go on the website and to be able to find the things I'm looking for. I haven't tried out all of the angles, but it's, I just want to say what a vast improvement, and I thank you for all the work on that. I have a question relating to parks, the message boards. It wasn't clear to me that I've heard who is responsible for updating them or who to approach about putting something in the park message board. But I recently was walking at the Belmont Park board and saw something that was a bit out of date. So I thought the question was germane. If we don't have that responsibility assigned to anybody yet, we certainly should. So just putting that out for, if it's already assigned, please let me know, but if not, please consider getting something organized, whether it be park and rec people. Now for the hot spots of the evening. I wanted to speak last meeting to reinforce what President Curry said. His message has resonated throughout the community, in my opinion. Collaboration and respect are due in all of our transactions. And certainly the move that he made in removing Councilman Hover from committee assignments was unprecedented. But for those people who have been paying attention, who have been to meetings, it may be unprecedented, but it was certainly not uncalled for. There are many people who feel the same emotional content that Jessica Pointer portrayed earlier with her remarks. There has been a great divide, and it's most unfortunate in such a loving and kind community. I wish, Mr. Hofer, I wish that you had greater qualities of self-reflection. I had never seen anything in President Curry's remarks relating to your accusation about it being an anti-Semitic action. I in fact printed out his remarks so I could look at them and study them, and they're very simple, and it really reflects on personal behavior. And if you reflect on it in an open way with an open heart, you may feel what it is that, the effect it had on the community. I have supported you a long time in the past. But there were times back as far as when you were president that I approached you about things the way you were treating some other council members when you were president. And I thought perhaps that was something that might help you have more self-reflection. You did in fact, I'm not bringing up all the details, but you did in fact apologize for that particular behavior, the incident of not allowing a council person to access staff members that related directly to her committee
10
assignment.
seconds.
So I'm hopeful for a better outcome after tonight's meeting. And I thank you for listening to me. Thank you for listening to me.
Thank you.
May I respond? And I appreciate you coming up as a leader within the Democratic Party. I would hope that.
Speaking as an individual, then,
That's blended and blurred and Lansdowne what positions people have because there's so many. I would.
it
hope-
is not blended, or I'm
If-
sorry for
if I-
dialoguing, it's my turn, it's not blended or
Okay, as a
blurred,
citizen,
because
as
then
a
are you
resident,
speaking as a Jew?
I will
No,
do
I'm
this.
speaking as me, period. I live on Drexel Avenue.
As a resident in the community that, as a citizen, I would encourage you as well as other members of the community to attend some anti-bias training having to do with anti-Semitism. Exactly what I'm going to be addressing, because I think there's some serious deflection that's happening with the attacks on me, changing and shifting in terms of what happened, and I'm going to address that. It's my turn to the public comment.
All right, thank you. Any other comments in the room? Okay.
I would, President Curry.
Okay. Okay.
Start that timer.
Please get the audience in order, Mr. Horton.
Thank you, sir.
What is that?
Good evening, Lansdowne Borough Council and the greater Lansdowne community. I stand before you today as an elected representative who swore an oath to uphold the Constitution of the Commonwealth and the United States. As a certified borough official, as a longtime resident of Lansdowne, and taxpayer of Lansdowne, which I love and have literally given blood, sweat, and tears to in my time on council and as my time as a resident. I do have deep love for this community and some deep disappointment in the community. I speak to this council also as a Jew. Before October 7th, this was less important to me as a resident in Lansdowne. Now, after what I witnessed in Lansdowne during 2023 and to the present, it has become much more important. Over the past 2 years, the last depiction has become the one most central to the leadership in council and to a vocal minority in this community. And I stand to condemn the action of President Robert Curry and Vice President Pointer, the chutzpah to assert that I should be reprimanded and sanctioned for demanding the leaders in this community do their job and protect the rights of all, including religious minorities in Pennsylvania. Be clear about the date. The dates happened after the Forum on Anti-Semitism. It didn't happen yesterday. It didn't happen a month ago. It happened after the Forum on Anti-Semitism. Instead of condemnation of hate speech, President Curry and Vice President Pointer have engaged in it and promoted others to do it. Despite my request for a reason for a sanction, President Curry never called, did not discuss, but offers only in letters social media behaviors. To be clear, sanctions do have a place on borough councils. They've been used in other boroughs to address council members who are arrested, council members who've committed crimes. There's no crime. In this case, President Curry is using the power to silence criticism and to deny the rights of fellow council members to engage in the public discourse and is being supported. This past spring, I worked with several community groups, governmental entities, and elected officials throughout the county, state. I brought this to council. I worked in a collaborative manner. I worked with the interfaith group, Hughes Delco, the Jewish Federation Greater Philadelphia, the Jewish Community Relations Council, the Kehila of Delaware County, and the Pennsylvania Human Relations Commission to bring a forum on anti-Semitism to Lansdowne. a forum supported by the Pennsylvania Human Relations Act and the ordinance empowered the Human Relations Commission. All of the parties recognize the need for this forum in Lansdowne after witnessing the abuse in Lansdowne Borough Council of Jewish community members on December 7, 2023. Social media behavior by community leaders, including board members of the LADC and member of Lansdowne's appointed boards and commissions that glorified Hamas and repeated the much condemned slogans that enshrine genocidal intent from the river to the sea and globalized intifada. And the spread of social media conspiracy theories that perpetuated the medieval blood libel myth through caricatures of Jews and Israelis of harvesting organs and skin. I brought this forum to the Public Safety Committee to be collaborative, a committee that was Zoom bombed with racist and anti-Semitic and Nazi rhetoric. In council, members of Jewish Voices for Peace denounced the Jewish Federation's support of Israel. In repeated meetings, the group of self-proclaimed anti-Zionists have repeatedly stated that Israel does not have a right to exist. Anti-Zionists have also repeatedly accused me of abetting in genocide and that they would drive all Zionists out of office and supporters of genocide out of office. For the past 2 years, I've received multiple harassing messages from a member of the zoning hearing board and friend of multiple folks on council that includes a consistent barrage of Gaza and Palestinian news stories on any recognition of Jewish holidays or local festivals. If you take a look at the flyer on anti-Semitism, that's actually indicated as harassment and anti-Semitic behavior. Statements questioning why I post so much from Semitic organizations, and even a threat voiced here in council chambers. Just tonight, he made a profane gesture to elicit attacks. The term of this behavior is called Jew bait. For the past 2 years, there's been an active group engaged in character assassination, including the accusations of misogyny and others. To be clear, Jewish Voices for Peace and this kind of behavior has been banned from multiple campuses in the region for harassing and attacking other Jewish students. This same group was evoked by Jessica Pointer as a possible participant for the forum. Jessica Pointer as well has also loved posts about Naturi Karta,
5 seconds.
an anti-Zionist heredity group. The positions are have been used in a hypocritical manner. I would encourage all members of council to actually engage in anti-bias training and a forum on anti-Semitism so you can learn what the behaviors are and we can address them. Tonight, I see very little to hope for that. And I will continue the conversation.
Remember who's next?
I think Liz Moorhead is next.
Yeah.
Fine.
Hi, Liz Moorhead from Price Avenue. I specifically emailed Borough Council requesting that they remove Ben Hover's committee appointments to limit his ability to further damage Lansdowne. I intentionally copied him on my email so he knows exactly why I requested this, and pretending that council acted for any other reason is disingenuous. I appreciate the borough. I appreciate all of the actions that council has taken in response to resident concerns. I know it's easier to ignore a bully, and that when you address him directly, you put yourself in the line of fire, and we've seen that tonight. So I just want you to know that I see you trying to act on our best interests. I see you hearing our concerns, and I see the fallout that you're dealing with, and thank you.
Thank you.
Right down the left, all right, Rebecca? Beaver?
Hi, thank you. Can you hear me?
Yes, now we can.
Rebecca Lefevre, Windermere Avenue. I am a Jewish resident and I would like to address some of the accusations made by Mr. Hover against other council members as well as our community at large. I want to start by stating unequivocally that anti-Semitism is indeed a very real problem. As a matter of fact, I've witnessed the perpetuation of anti-Semitic tropes and been on the receiving end of anti-Jewish discrimination within the walls of Lansdowne Borough Hall by one person in particular, and that person is Mr. Ben Hover. His intentional erasure of my identity as a Jewish person when referring to public comments I've made and accusations of anti-Semitism for not sharing his personal political ideology, to his singling out of Judaism as an economic development issue and simultaneous refusal to acknowledge, let alone engage with multiple Jewish residents who have voiced both opposition to his approach of addressing anti-Semitism in Lansdowne, as well as a desire to participate in planning of the events and celebrations that he claims are meant to uplift our Jewish community. It sickens me that for nearly a year, I have found the need to show up to council meeting after council meeting to demand that Mr. Hoover acknowledge, respect, and live up to the sworn duty to represent all members of this community, especially those of us in a minority group that he claims membership in. Yet, once again, I'm here tonight for the purpose of defending my right to exist as an anti-Zionist Jewish person, my freedom to express my religious beliefs, and now apparently my ability to criticize the political ideology of an elected official without being labeled an anti-Semite. While I could easily use my time for public comment to read through the myriad of public comments made by Jewish community members to Mr. Hover, along with his responses or lack thereof, all of that can be found in the recordings and meeting minutes available on the Document Center on the borough's website by anyone interested in understanding actual facts. So instead of giving another second of airtime to Mr. Hoover's latest shameless cry for attention in his endless endeavor to simultaneously play the role of Lansdowne's savior and victim, I'd like to thank the other 6 members of council who have continuously shown up to committee and council as a whole meetings and put their personal interests aside to serve in the best interest of our community, including working to correct the harmful nature of Mr. Hover's words and actions, especially in the face of such horrific accusations. So thank you, councilpersons Curry, Pointer, Connors, Griffin, Martzoff, and Young for acknowledging and encouraging the inclusion of a diversity of Jewish voices at Borough Council and committee meetings. As a Jewish person and a person of consciousness, I feel morally obligated to speak out against the dangerous, violent, and false conflation of Zionism, a political ideology, with Judaism, my religion. These are 2 different things, especially when that conflation is being used to fuel a genocide. Allowing for a diversity of Jewish voices at public meetings does not equate to anti-Semitism, nor is it an expression of Jewish hate. Thank you for allowing Jewish residents to speak out against Mr. Hover's attempts to claim that all Jewish people support Israel, a statement that many Jews recognize as an anti-Semitic trope known as dual loyalty. Thank you for allowing Jewish residents the opportunity to publicly denounce Zionism and its claim that Judaism can only be preserved through the systemic starvation, ethnic cleansing, and ultimately genocide of another people, also known as blood libel. Thank you for standing with members of our Jewish community who did not feel included or represented by Mr. Hover's one-man plan for addressing anti-Semitism by voting no to sponsor an educational forum that was devoid of any participation from Jewish organizations that do not support Israel's genocide of the Palestinian people. And lastly, thank you, Council, for addressing the longstanding concerns expressed by many of Lansdowne's civically engaged residents by taking steps to remove Mr. Hover's committee privileges due to his unwillingness to work collaboratively or productively with Council at large, as well as his consistent slander and misconduct via his designated personal social media account, his councilperson's social media account, including these most recent and appalling accusations of anti-Semitism and anti-Jewish discrimination. The last thing that I will say is Mr. Hover's personal choice to skirt his responsibility as an elected official by not attending council meetings over the last 5 months has only served to illuminate how much of an obstacle and hindrance he has truly been to progress and community engagement in Lansdowne, and how necessary President Curry and Vice President Pointer's actions were to limit that hindrance. As many others have expressed here this evening, I am tired. I'm tired of the lies. I'm tired of the accusations. I'm tired of the intimidation, and I'm tired of the perversion of anti-Semitism to shield himself from any accountability. Thank you, Council.
You. Thank you. Next.
Next is Charlotte Hummel.
To say that for 20 years, I worked as an associate director, and then finally as the regional director of the South Jersey, Philadelphia chapter of the National Conference of Christians and Jews. My genetic heritage is Jewish, but I don't claim to be Jewish because my people became Catholics under a Jewish pogrom in Lithuania. But I am genetically a Litvak Jew. But I am also a white person, and I do not want to center myself. But I have, in my role with the NCCJ, I have worked with the Jewish Community Relations Council, the ADL, Catholic organizations, including Catholic teaching about the Holocaust, and have been awarded an award for my interfaith work by the Chapel of the Four Chaplains at Temple University. I have done anti-bias training. And one of the things I know about that is that unless you are broad, unless you are a honest broker and can play a handmaiden role, you shouldn't be organizing anything having to do with bias. So if you are perceived as biased in a community or a group, you should take yourself out of the picture. I must also say to you that I recruited and promoted Mr. Hover to take an empty seat on the Borough Council, and the Borough Council at the time agreed with me and did so. I also promoted him personally to Borough Council members to be elected president. Mr. Hover, however, behaved in ways that I did not expect, and I heard a lot back from the community, but supported him over at least 18 months of his authoritarian role as president. It was when I found out I was being gaslighted by him telling people I was undermining him at the same time I was supporting him that I cut him loose. Now, I am not speaking as the chair of the Lansdowne Democratic Party. That is a group, that is not me. I am speaking as an individual. I regret my role in promoting Mr. Hover because he has no self-awareness. He needs to center himself as someone with a handicap, or someone who was abused, or someone who is more black than blacks because he has an interracial family, or now as a Jew.
Please leave my family out of this.
Okay, well, you've brought it up before, so there it is. What I have done in the past 3 months is sacrifice my family time to face off a bully. And when I said something inappropriate online and apologized for it, Mr. Hover never accepted my apology. He acknowledged it, used it to promote his forum, and then threatened to go to the press unless I was asked to resign from my position, volunteer, as the solicitor of the Delaware County Democratic Party, to which I had dedicated hundreds of hours of time. So I faced the bully and I faced the results of that, and I will continue to do it because I have worked in this community for 35 years to make it a diverse and welcoming place. And I will stand up to anyone and everyone who tries to take that power and that calm away from my community. That is all I have to say about that matter.
All right, the motion passed. We don't have anything in executive session, correct?
Not on my end.
So can I have a motion to adjourn the meeting? Motion moved. Do I have a second? Second, okay, the motion moved and seconded.
Thank everybody.
The meeting is adjourned. Thank you for attending, the meeting this evening.